So today we're unpacking Carl Jung and this concept of archetypes.
Yes.
And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to identify the cast of characters living inside your head.
Mm.
And I mean that literally, figuring out who is steering your behavior right now.
And to do that, we have to start with the stage itself. We have to talk about the collective unconscious.
This was a concept I struggled with at first. I usually think of the unconscious as like a personal storage unit.
Right, your own stuff.
Yeah, the dusty attic where I shove my childhood memories or that embarrassing thing I said in a meeting 3 years ago.
And that's the personal unconscious. Jung says that definitely exists. But he argued there's a deeper layer. Think of it less like an attic and more like the operating system that comes pre-installed on a computer.
Ah.
You didn't write the code for it, you didn't design it, but it dictates exactly how the machine functions.
The source material uses a biological metaphor I liked even more. It says archetypes are the organs of the psyche.
Exactly, and this is so critical. Just as a human body is born with a heart and lungs, you don't have to teach your heart how to beat. The human mind is born with these pre-existing structures.
So we inherit them. We don't invent them.
We inherit them. They're the psychic heritage of humanity.
So when we talk about archetypes, we're not talking about like stereotypes, not jock or prep.
No, not at all. We're talking about universal blueprints that show up in our myths, our dreams, and yeah, in the patterns of our daily behavior.
And the argument here is simple. If you don't know which character is currently steering your ship, you're not really in control.
You're a puppet. You think you're making a choice, but you're just following a script.
Okay, so let's turn the lights on in the theater. Let's meet the cast. The research outlines 4 major ones that are like the pillars of the personality.
The hero, the great mother, the trickster, and the wise old man.
There are others, but these are the big 4.
They're the cardinal directions of the soul.
Let's start with the one that gets all the screen time, the one on all the movie posters. The hero.
The hero is where consciousness begins. It's the most famous for a reason. But we have to be careful here. When we say hero, we're not talking about Marvel movie.
Right, not wearing a cape.
No. Psychologically speaking, the hero is essentially the ego. It's the I.
It's the archetype of the ego's development then.
It represents that drive for independence, for mastery. It's the courage to say, I am separate from the world. It's the force that allows you to leave your parents' house.
That first act of teenage rebellion.
Precisely. And in every culture, the story is the same. The hero leaves home, faces trials, slays a monster, and comes back changed. Jung says this isn't just a campfire story, it's the process of individuation.
Individuation. Okay, that's a key term. Break that down for us, because it sounds a little academic.
It's just the process of becoming a functional, distinct individual, pulling yourself out of the soup of the collective where you just do what everyone else does and standing on your own 2 feet.
And to do that, you have to slay a dragon. But the notes really emphasize, and I love this, that the dragon is almost never an external enemy.
No, and this is where people get stuck. They go looking for dragons out there, a bad boss, a rival, but the dragon is the shadow.
The shadow.
It's the inertia of your past. It's the part of you that wants to stay safe and small and asleep. Slaying the dragon means killing the part of yourself that refuses to grow.
Wow. So that restless feeling you get, that anxiety in your chest when you know you have to have a hard conversation or quit a job you hate,
That's the dragon.
that resistance is the dragon breathing fire at you.
It is. And the hero is the energy required to do it anyway, to do it despite the fear.
But there's a trap here. The hero sounds great, but the source material warns a lot about hubris, about inflation.
This is the danger. If the ego identifies too much with the hero, you start thinking you're invincible. You forget you're part of a bigger system.
You see this everywhere in, like, hustle culture.
Oh, absolutely. The obsession with crushing it, winning, the tech CEO who thinks he can solve poverty with an app.
That's the hero in overdrive, a hero who thinks he's a god.
Right. But the source makes this beautiful distinction. True heroism isn't about external victory. It's about internal courage.
I highlighted that part. It said, sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is admit you are lost.
Because that means slaying the dragon of your own pride. The real treasure isn't gold, it's a transformation of your soul.
Now, if the hero is all about leaving and separating, they have to leave from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to the second character, the great mother.
The foundation. She is the archetype of the source. It's interesting, the word mother is connected to the word matter, physical reality. She governs birth, nurturing, growth.
So the warm embrace, that feeling of being at home.
Yes, that's the nurturing mother. But every archetype has a shadow side. And her shadow is the devouring mother.
The devouring mother. That sounds pretty intense.
It is. It's the shadow side of nurturing. It's the urge to keep things dependent. Just as the earth gives life, it also swallows it back up. Psychologically, it's the voice that says, don't take that risk. Stay here where it's safe. Stay a child forever.
And this isn't necessarily about your actual mom. This is an internal force.
Exactly. It's that voice inside you that craves comfort over growth. It's the part of you that chooses the couch over the gym.
So the fundamental tension, at least in the first half of life, is this battle between the hero and the great mother.
It's the tension between adventure and security. The mother offers a Garden of Eden. It's safe. But if the hero stays in that garden too long, it becomes a prison.
I think we've all felt that comfort zone that starts to feel like a coffin.
That is the signal. The archetype has shifted from nurturing to devouring. You have to leave the garden to build your own city.
Okay, so we have the hero trying to create order and the mother representing safety. But then there's the character that just messes everything up.
Yes. The trickster.
The disruptor.
He's essential. He's the court jester, the coyote, Loki in the Norse myths.
The source material links him to the Freudian slip, which I
Oh.
thought was hilarious.
Yes. Or laughing at a funeral. Or tripping when you're walking up to get an award. The trickster is the agent of chaos. His job is to keep the ego from taking itself too seriously.
But why do we need that? If I'm trying to build a life, why do I want some character kicking over my sandcastle?
Because it's annoying to the ego, but it's vital for the soul. A life of perfect, sterile order is a life where nothing new can grow. The trickster is the catalyst for evolution.
How so?
Think about it. An accident in a lab, a mistake that often leads to the breakthrough, like penicillin.
A mistake?
A mistake. The trickster enters. Without that chaos, we'd just repeat the same patterns forever. He's the one who points out the emperor has no clothes.
So when your computer crashes right before a deadline, that isn't just bad luck, that's the trickster inviting you to be flexible.
It's an invitation to humility and reminds you that you aren't in total control. It forces the hero to put down the sword and just laugh.
This seems like such a crucial balance.
It's the difference between marching and dancing.
Which leads us to the final member of this quartet. When the chaos settles, who do we turn to? The wise old man.
The wise old man represents spirit, meaning if the hero asks how, the wise old man asks why.
The text makes this really interesting distinction. It says he doesn't give you a map, he gives you a compass.
That's key. A map tells you where to go, but you're just following instructions. A compass points toward your truth, but you have to do the walking. You have to figure out the terrain.
He has a shadow side too, right?
Absolutely. The dogmatic senex.
Senex, meaning old man.
Yes, the rigid old man who refuses to change his mind. It's the false guru. It's wisdom without heart.
And the notes say the wise old man and the trickster are a duo, like a buddy cop movie.
They're the necessary balance. Wisdom needs folly to stay humble. If the wise old man gets too pompous, the trickster trips him up.
And as we're sitting on the ground, having fallen, the wise old man helps us understand why we fell.
Exactly. You need the king and the fool. You can't have one without the other.
Okay, so we have this cast. But they don't just hang out. The research lays out this chronological dance. They take the lead at different stages of our lives.
It really does. It gives you a map for the life cycle.
So start us off, childhood.
That's the realm of the great mother. We are dependent, nurtured, in the garden.
Then comes adolescence, young adulthood.
The hero takes the stage. And this is appropriate. This is the time for conquest, building a career, establishing yourself in the external world.
And then the midlife crisis.
Which we make fun of. But Jung saw it as the arrival of the trickster.
This is the part that hit home. We joke about buying the sports car, but the research describes it as a fundamental breakdown of the hero's strategy.
Right. The trickster knocks on the door and says, the game has changed. The things that used to satisfy you, the promotions, the external validation, they suddenly feel hollow.
And that's terrifying. People think they're failing. They think, I just need to work harder, get a bigger sword.
But they aren't failing. They're graduating. This is the shift from the morning of life to the afternoon of life. The hero has to turn inward.
The dragons are no longer out there. They're inside.
Correct. And this paves the way for the later years where the wise old man or wise old woman takes the lead. This is the archetype of passing the torch.
It totally changes how you look at aging. It's not a decline. It's a progression toward a different kind of power.
A power based on meaning, not ability. On being, not doing.
But the ultimate goal isn't just getting old. It's something the notes call wholeness.
Wholeness, not perfection. This is crucial. Jung called the destination the self, with a capital S.
And how is the self different from the ego?
If the ego is a small boat on the ocean, thinking it's steering everything, the self is the ocean, the boat, and the wind. It's everything, the light and the dark.
To get there, the notes talk about the connexio, the sacred marriage.
Yes, you have to balance matter, the mother, the body, with spirit, the wise old man, the intellect. Be grounded in the earth, but guided by the stars.
It sounds beautiful, but the source also warns about possession. What does that look like?
It means an archetype takes over the driver's seat. A leader possessed by the hero becomes a tyrant. Someone possessed by the mother becomes a martyr who smothers everyone.
Someone possessed by the trickster becomes a troll.
Exactly. A nihilist who just wants to watch the world burn.
So how do we stop that?
Yeah.
How do we stay in the director's chair?
We have to engage in dialogue. Jung had this technique called active imagination.
I have to admit, this sounded a little woo-woo at first, talking to voices in your head.
It sounds strange, but you treat them as separate entities. If you're overwhelmed with rage, instead of saying, I am angry, you visualize the anger. Maybe it's a dragon. And you ask it, what do you want?
You interview it.
Yes.
Yeah.
By creating a dialogue, you create separation. You realize, I am not this emotion. I am the one experiencing it. That little space is where your freedom lives.
So if you're feeling stuck, maybe that's just the great mother saying, rest. If you're restless, it's the hero saying, go, we need a challenge.
And if you're laughing at the absurdity of it all, that's the trickster keeping you sane. It's about listening to the whole board of directors.
Let's bring this down to the ground for the listener. What's the practical takeaway? What do we do with this tomorrow morning?
The takeaway is awareness. These forces are like the wind. You can't see them, but you see the trees moving. You can see the effects in your life. The goal is to just start observing the wind.
To be the director of the play.
Exactly. A good director knows when to call on the hero for courage, but they also know when to send the hero off stage and bring in the mother for self-care. They coordinate the ensemble.
And that idea of the second half of life, the shift from external to internal, that's so profound.
It validates that shift. It tells you that feeling of the old ways aren't working isn't a failure, it's a graduation. The psyche is saying, okay, time to master the internal world.
The text mentions that in the end, we're all travelers on the same road.
We are. The hero, the mother, the trickster, the sage. They are our oldest friends. We just need to get to know them better.
So here is where we leave you today. A final provocation. Reflect on whatever you're struggling with right now. Ask yourself, which character is currently steering my ship?
Is it a tired hero who needs to put down the sword and just rest? Is it a devouring mother refusing to let you grow and take that risk?
Or is it the trickster, maybe trying to tell you you become a little too rigid? Naming the archetype is the first step.
Once you name it, you aren't its prisoner anymore.
You become the author of your own story. And that is a story worth writing. Thanks for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time.